Thank you all for joining us today for this Lunch and Learn. We just want to make sure that as we're unveiling, something I mentioned at the last one is as we're unveiling some of this exciting new stuff that DIDD is doing, we want to make sure our employees really know what we're up to, can ask questions, find out more about all the different programs, and really connect with each other on some of the different ways that we're supporting people with disabilities. For those of us who have been here for longer than 3 years, you know that the department has grown quite a bit. And we've really gone from primarily providing waiver services to now having Katie Beckett and TEIS and soon MAPS as well, and so many other different things that we're working on. And we want to make sure that folks have an opportunity to learn about those and ask questions, and also, just make sure that we're all doing what we can to make sure that everybody feels connected to DIDD's vision and mission. So in that vein, I'm going to turn it over to our Youth Transitions Director, Jay Camperlino. He's going to talk a little bit about MAPS and the program and the launch and how excited we are. You are the first folks to get our new updated presentation. So tell us what you think. We're really excited to share a little bit about this program with you all and answer your questions. As always, go ahead, drop them in chat. We'll get to them at the end. Of course, we want to make sure that we're having some time to answer some of those questions. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jay. Jay?
Hey, folks. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining today. Many of you may know me as Jay Camperlino. I've been in the industry now for oh gosh, it feels like 20 years, and I think I'm coming up to 20 years, but becoming a relatively new employee from the state of Tennessee, you may see my name mentioned as Jason Camperlino. When I became an employee, the legal name took over everything. So just know that if you see Jason or Jay Camperlino, it's one and the same. I'm excited today to talk to you about the Medicaid Alternative Pathways to Independence Program. Short acronym is MAPS. As Kara mentioned, this presentation is going to look a little bit different. Since I've been involved, we have done countless presentations, and it feels like we're constantly revising the material to ensure that the recipients are receiving the message that we're trying to intend. And one of the areas of feedback that we've received is that sometimes my presentations may be not specific enough. And so we're going to try something today by revising some of the language, making it very plain language, and I would really welcome some feedback. And so as we get through the majority of this presentation, I'd love to hear if this presentation was received, if there was points of it that you thought should have been highlighted. So please don't be shy to provide me some feedback afterwards, how you think this could have been delivered better. The ultimate goal of this presentation is to be able to have it to share with family members, interested community members that really may not be very familiar with all of our services and in particular the MAPS program. So we really want this presentation to address those questions for that audience. So if you do have recommendations, please feel free to chime in them. With that being said, the material may be a little bit different, but I'm hoping I can bring the same energy. I am really very excited about this program, just from the very creation of it, just the foresight from the state of Tennessee to be able to recognize the possibility to develop a program like this and target a specific group of folks that may not be receiving supports now is truly innovative. And the approach that we're taking to develop this program in itself is a flexible one that's very exciting. And so for me, while the material may be a little bit different, I just share that same energy and excitement to be able to present this information to you today. Ultimately, I'm really excited to check back in on this program in a couple of years and see how it's evolved from now to then, because just in the short 5 months since I've been here, this program has really grown, and we've established a good footing of a foundation to be able to administer this program. There's a PowerPoint I'm going to follow. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. It's going to direct us through, and as Kara indicated, feel free to indicate in the chat box any of those questions you may have, and as I conclude the end of this presentation, we'll certainly get to those questions that you may have. And so essentially what you see right now is just the title screen, Medicaid Alternative Pathways to Independence. Anytime you hear of this, just think of MAPS. We're going to use MAPS throughout the rest of the presentation and as we continue to progress with the actual material itself. A short visual of Kara. I appreciate you welcoming us on and introducing myself to be able to provide this material. You'll see Jason and Jay Camperlino. I'm currently the Youth Transitions Director. My role right now is to help organize and coordinate and really put some of the structure that's necessary for the implementation and launch of our MAP program. It's been a whole lot of fun, and so that's going to continue to be my targeted goals here for as we continue to progress. The presentation today will answer several questions, and we'll start by answering what is MAPS. We want to be able to provide that definition of when folks hear MAPS, they know what it is, and certainly from that we can progress to who would it benefit and how it can benefit those folks in the community. From that information, we'll definitely get into some of the outcomes that we have identified. MAPS believes that we can help folks in the areas of independence at their home, at work, and in their community. So we're going to target specific goals within those outcome areas of home, work, and community to promote independence learning for those folks that we're supporting. From that point, we'll move into the virtual community resource map. This is something that we're very, very excited about, and I can't wait to get into it. Community resource mapping is not necessarily a new approach, but the component of adding a virtual component to it and ensuring that folks within their community can access this map at any time is something that we're really excited about. And we think this is going to be a true foundational building block for not only the MAP services, but potentially services that we're providing in other funded systems. And then we'll conclude with describing some of the enrollment procedures that are forthcoming. So at this point, MAPS is a new program that will support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities who want to increase their independence at home, at work, and in their community. There are those three outcome areas again that essentially, if you're looking at it from a bird's eye view, MAPS is going to help folks at home, at work, and in their community. MAPS is for people with intellectual or developmental disabilities who want to learn skills that will help them work, obviously emphasizing the importance of employment. We want to help folks learn how to work if they wish to learn how to work. We want to help folks live independent lifestyles, so living in an arrangement that is independent for them and helping wrap around those folks the technology supports that they need to help them live independently. We want to help folks learn about their neighborhoods and their communities, and we want to help folks find hobbies that interest them, really touching on that person-centered component. The person is at the very center of all of this, and they will direct to us, the supporters, how we're going to help them achieve these goals that they have for themselves. MAP is not for people already enrolled in a home and community-based service or traditional long-term services and support. So if somebody's receiving employment community first choices service, this is not a program for them. If a person is receiving traditional 1915C waiver services, this is not a service for them. This is for folks who are not enrolled in one of those long-term services or HCBS services. When we describe the intellectual disability, it's important that folks in the community understand what we mean when we talk about that. And so we define that for them, and we identify that a person with an intellectual disability might have trouble learning at their expected level or doing those daily activities without assistance, such as letting others know their wants and needs, that communication needs are always vital, taking care of themselves or their home, talking with other people, or staying safe staying healthy and safe within their home and their community. Traditionally, intellectual disabilities, they're usually known before the person turns 18 years of age. A developmental disability is a person with a developmental disability would have a condition due to an impairment in either the physical, learning, or language, or their behavior areas. If there's impairments in one of those areas, that could qualify as a developmental disability. Some of these disabilities are also physical in nature, such as blindness. Others are both physical and intellectual disabilities, such as Down syndrome or cerebral palsy. And traditionally, developmental disabilities are usually known before a person will turn 22 years of age. Who is MAPS for? So we talked about what it is a little bit, and we started talking about who it's for, a person with an intellectual and or a developmental disability. We wish to also target people with intellectual or developmental disabilities who, one, will leave high school in the next 3 years. We think that MAPS can be a transition age service for those students that are preparing to exit the high school into their next chapter in life. We think MAPS can help provide some services to assist those high school students as they're preparing for that transition age service. We also believe that MAPS would benefit folks who have already left high school. If somebody has recently left the high school, they would be somebody that we feel would be appropriate for MAPS services. We also believe folks who are in inclusive higher education programs, such as the Next Steps program or Ideal or Future or any other inclusive higher education program, would also benefit from these supports and this program. And if there are also folks who may be on a waiting list for long-term services and support, such as ECF choices, we believe you would be an appropriate candidate for the MAPS services. Now, how can MAPS help me? MAPS can help set you up on a path to independence. The program will give you the tools, the technology, and support you need to meet those goals and set yourself up at home, at work, and in your community through multiple areas. But we're going to highlight the focus of enabling technology, peer mentoring, and providing direct support. All of these areas are activities that the program will provide that will help give those MAPS persons supported the tools they need to achieve independence in their home, work, and or community. We're going to get into the virtual community resource map, and this one is, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the VCRM because of how important of a role this plays in the delivery of the MAPS program itself. We have contracted with a group known as an innovation coordination agency, very similar to that of a case manager. And a MAPS case manager known as an innovation coordinator will help you find places and activities in your community that interest you. And they will also help that person create a virtual community resource map. The VCRM, as we love acronyms, will identify the people, places, and activities that are important to the person supported. It will include your independence goals at home, at work, and in your community, and your plan to reach these goals. So as we're meeting with the folks that we support, we want to ask them what it is they're interested in learning. Are there activities within the community that they are already interested in? And if so, we will take that input and begin developing an actual map that's on a device. This device and this map will include all of these activities that we identify through this person-centered planning process. And it'll look something like this. Using Google My Maps, you can go in and drop in pins or locations that are important to you. For this particular person, this is Erica. Erica has a map of Rhode Island. And within her map, we identify what Erica's goals are after graduation, and they include getting to work, potentially looking for an apartment, and or identifying the people and or places that are important to Erica, to her. And within this particular map, we will go in and pin every location that's in the map that are specifically important to that person. So you'll see here under the work tablet, there is a pin for the vocational rehabilitation office. This pin right here will translate over to the map. So if I was looking at a real map and not a screenshot, I could click on one of these icons and it would pull me to another part of the program where I can drill down more into that location that can include information such as directions. These are the directions how I get to this location. I can include pictures of people that are important to me when I go to that location. I can include a description of events that I have experienced going to that location. Let's say I go to Voc Rehab, I meet with my counselor, and I learn that the next time I need to bring my identification card. I can go in to my map and I can write in there that I need to take my ID card every time I go to the Voc Rehab office, so that when I click on this pin, it pulls up all of that information and it's immediately in front of me. And I can continue to navigate all throughout this map for all of those places, persons, or activities that interest me. So this is a really cool component of the actual program, and it's really what drives all of it, because we hope that at the conclusion of the program, those that are receiving the supports will have a fully functional map that helps them continue to utilize these activities within the community, even after the map services have discontinued. So the map will still exist, the virtual community map will exist, but the actual services through maps will be discontinued after 3 years. With your VCRM, you can get to know where things are in your community. You can use this as a tool to go to new places that you've never been, that you want to experience, that you can identify a location that interests you. Let's say me, for example. I want to go to the Titan Stadium. I like to go to football games. I can put in my map that I want to go to the Titan Stadium, and I can write in my map things that I want to consider. How am I going to get there? Do I need to bring money with me to buy my favorite Titans player's jersey? Do I need to bring anything else that will ensure I'm going to really enjoy that activity? Within this VCRM, I can also build my schedule so that I know when I should be going to school and or when I should be going to work, and it would help me develop that sequence of events. I do this first, this next, then I go to work, and I can use this map to guide me through my day. It will help me learn how to travel in my community. It will help find opportunities in the community so that I can meet new people as well. It will also allow you to find resources so that you can explore those new interests and goals. Again, the intention behind this map is that it's living, that it's breathing, that it's ever evolving. And as we continue to identify new locations that interest us, we can program this map to help us experience those activities within the community. Now, it's important to ask the question, well, how are we going to be able to access this map? This virtual community resource map can be accessed through your own cell phone, a tablet, a computer, or a device that is provided through the program. If a person enrolls in MAPS, we will provide them with access to a smartphone that includes all of the necessary applications to access the virtual community resource map. Let's talk a little bit about the MAP support. We mentioned the importance of helping folks at their home and at work and in the community. We are going to approach identifying goals for folks in any of those areas while also asking the question, how can enabling technology help here? And for those that don't know, enabling technology is the use of devices and technology to support a person with disabilities to live as independently as possible. These types of technologies include sensors, mobile applications, remote support systems, and other smart devices. Essentially, how can we use technology to help assure that you are as independent as you can be? Is it a medication dispenser? Is it a two-way discussion point through the phone so that you can reach somebody when you need them? Is it a sensor to let you know that the stove has been left on, or anything within the home that would help you have independence at home, at work, and in the community? Enabling technology will also support our folks in their jobs and in their community to gain more control of the overall environment. And it will provide remote support and reminders to assist you in that independent living. If you need reminders to perform certain tasks throughout your day, enabling technology can help us achieve that. It can notify us when it's time to take our medications, or when I should start cooking dinner, for example. All of those reminders can be included through enabling technology, and it'll help me live independently in those areas. We recognize that as folks receive MAP services, we would love to include a peer mentoring component. And a peer mentoring component can help you connect to peers who share similar interests, goals, and have a shared life experience of having an intellectual or a developmental disability. Both you and your peer mentor can learn from and support each other to achieve your goals. So we will help work with groups that will be able to identify a peer mentor, somebody that would be available to you as you may need help talking through what you're experiencing and or talk through your goals. They would be available to provide you with access to their experiences. This is what they realized in their experience, and they can provide you with that information to help you as you continue to progress through your goals. There's also direct support through MAPS providers, and a MAPS provider can provide you with actual direct support to help you learn the skills you need to be more independent. You can receive direct support from a person who is trained to support you to gain those skills that will help you to be more independent. The goal of this direct support is to provide the support that you want or need, and then help you to where you don't need their support, so they can fade out and you can truly live independently without relying on somebody to be right next to you. Now, we think that these direct supports will be provided in person and remotely through FaceTime technology. They can call you and provide you step-by-step reminders or directions or help in certain activities that you may need to live those independent lifestyles. And as I communicated a minute ago, direct support will decrease as you become more independent and comfortable in your new skills. MAPS at home. MAPS can help you gain independence at home. You can learn skills at home that will help you stay safe at home, prepare your own meals, and prepare healthy meals, maintain personal hygiene and take care of yourself. Independence at home can also include you managing your own health by teaching you to schedule your own appointments with your doctors and asking for medical help when you need it. We can also help you gain independence at home by teaching you how to manage your own money, including how you pay bills, how you should budget your money for groceries and other expenses, and how you should consider saving your money. All of these are independent opportunities that we wish to help those folks we support to gain independence at home. A person called an independence coach can help you learn all of these skills and provide you the support until you no longer need it. But remember, we also wish to consider how technology can help you achieve those goals while you're at home. So at every step along the way, that independence coach will ask, how can technology help here so that they can decrease as you become more independent at home. There are many different types of that enabling technology at home, and these are just a few, but a motion sensor to help your supports know when you might need help is an option of adding technology in your home so that you can be independent. We may be able to look at installing a Ring doorbell to help you know when you have visitors. And oh yeah, if you have a personal device that has a camera on it, you can actually open up your Ring device and view who's at your front door so that you know when or who or how to let somebody come and visit you. Enabling technology can help you with live or on-demand audio and or video calling so that you can reach support if you need it. If you need help, how can you call somebody for help? And those are the goals that we think technology can help you with. There's also automated medication dispensers that help you take your medication correctly. These devices can be programmed for certain times of the day when you normally receive your medications, and then those devices would also provide you with, it is time to take your medication, and here are the medications you normally take at this time. So that way you don't have to rely on somebody giving you your medication throughout the day. We can rely on technology that can help you live independently. Maps at work. We also want to look at how maps can help you at work. Map services can help you find a job and help you advance your career if you are already working. You can choose to receive support so you can find a job based on your strengths, your interests, and your skills. What is it you want to do? What would you like to do? What are you good at? Based on those three questions, we can probably identify a career path for you or help you along that road to get a job or advance in your career at that job. Along the way, we can also help figure out what support you will need to be successful at your job so that the staff, the direct supports that are helping you can identify what help you need and then ask through technology, how can you use technology to stay independent and then fade out again. We hope that we can also help you learn how to travel to and from work. Anyone who works relies on transportation to get to their work. And in this case, we would like to help the folks that we support you identify how you can get to and from work using public transportation or natural supports or whatever means of transportation are available to you where you live. We would like to help you learn how to travel to and from work. We would also like to help folks get a promotion if they desire. Many skills can be learned outside of traditional work that we can help you, that may help you get a promotion. And so we would like to do that as well. A person called a job coach or job developer can support you at work until you no longer need it. That is the goal of those personal supports. They will help you until you don't need their supports anymore. And guess what? They're going to do that using enabling technology. Those technology solutions will help you reach your goals at work so that they can no longer until you no longer need those direct supports. There are many different ways that enabling technology can help you at work, and these are just a few examples. But a phone or a tablet can teach you or remind you of your job responsibilities using video, audio, or pictures. The phone can be my prompt. It can tell me these are the steps that I need to do to complete these jobs. We can help set that device up for you so that you have those prompts or reminders to complete the needed steps to do your job. A phone or a tablet that has GPS to help you navigate to work, again, using the devices and applications to get to your location of work. Though that technology can help you get to your job. There's also online assessments that can help you learn your skills, your strengths, and your interests. What if you don't know what you want to do? That's very natural. We can help by asking some questions that will help identify what your goals are, what your interests are, And by answering those questions, we can help identify a road towards employment that is directly catered to you. There's also virtual reality programs that can help you learn about different career paths and learn your job. Gosh, I know that our team was just presenting the other day a virtual reality program where it simulates somebody working at the Nashville Sound Stadium, where you put on an Oculus device and you can look around and really experience what it is like to be working at the Nashville Sound Stadium. So we can do some of those experiences that help you identify what you're interested in doing as well. And finally, maps in the community. Maps can help you become more independent in your community to where you will learn to travel to your job, your school, or hobbies more independently. And an independent coach can help you enroll in driver's education classes or help you learn to use public and or private transportation. Our community supports will help you learn how you can independently navigate in and around the community. By using that virtual community resource map and other map services can support you in your community to become aware of where your job, school, or other favorite places are. We can help develop routines to make scheduled and unscheduled outings easier. We can also help you find interest and create goals that are unique to you. Where is it that you want to go? Remember, I want to go to the Titan Stadium. I want to use maps to help me get there, and maps will help me get there. You can also meet new people and make connections with others in your community who share your same interests. And you can learn to become more confident in situations or places that might seem overwhelming at first. So how would you apply? The enrollment into the program, you will need to complete an application that will be found on the DIDD website. This application will ask you for basic information, such as your name, your address, your email, your social security number, and contact information for yourself and or your parent guardian. That way, the application can be processed to the next step. Documentation will not be required when completing the application, but will be needed later on in the process. So once you complete the application, you won't need to submit anything else, but you should be prepared to provide us documentation for a later time. And some examples of that documentation that we might need are the medical record that shows proof of diagnosis of an intellectual or a developmental disability, an IQ evaluation with diagnoses of intellectual disability, or a school record that identifies the diagnosis. Let's say, for example, you have an IEP that shows an intellectual disability. That is a document we can accept when that time comes. There may also be therapy notes or assessments completed by a clinician identifying the intellectual or developmental disability. That's something that would be accepted as well. There's also documentation from the Social Security Administration that may list a diagnosis of intellectual and or a developmental disability. If you have that, that's an example of a documentation, example documentation that we could accept. MAPS is going to start in a phased rollout. We are going to start small and build so that we can be sure that we're helping everyone accordingly, that we are growing at a rate that we can accommodate. And as a result, this means that enrollment will be open to different regions of the state at different times. So if you live in the Middle Tennessee region, those counties that are recognized as Middle Tennessee, you would be eligible to begin enrollment on November 1st. Again, enrollment just means you submit the application. After the application is submitted, there's a period of time that we review the information, we ask for documents, and so there will be a period of time that we confirm eligibility before a service will begin. So just know that when we talk about enrollment, we're talking about when the application becomes available to you. So after we start in Middle Tennessee, we will move and open up enrollment to East Tennessee on or around March 1st of the next year. And then finally concluding in West Tennessee on July of 2023. So I know that says 2022 right there. I missed that revision when I was looking at this. We will adjust that. But those are the dates that we're targeting for enrollment in those different phased approaches. Now, we constantly get the question, if you do not live in a Middle Tennessee county, can you still complete the application on November 1? And the answer is yes. You can submit the application, and we will keep it on record until the services begin in your area. Just know that there may be, the response you may get may say, we're not providing services in this area yet. We will notify you when we open up services in that area. We are constantly communicating updates about the development and launch of this program. And we are constantly updating our website with materials. We are constantly updating our social media sites with all kinds of updates and introductions and announcements. So if you would like to find out more information, I encourage you to follow these websites. Follow our social media so that you can stay up to date on enrollment updates or progressions into what we learn from the program, because we do evaluate that we are going to learn from this program, and we may change some things as we continue to get into it. So my encouragement to everyone is follow our social media. If you're not following our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram, please go do so. There's wonderful information to be shared there, and our website is really going to be that central repository of that specific information that's related to the actual program itself. That is the end of the presentation. At this point, I'd love to go ahead and open it up for questions. And I see there may be some in the chat box. I'm going to go ahead and stop right now and see if we can get to some of the questions.
Okay, yeah, we do have time for questions, and we have some really good ones in there. Recently left high school, so are you talking about maybe left a year ago? So we're talking about who might be MAPS for. If they left high school a year ago, would this program be appropriate for them?
It would be. The simple answer to that question is really we know that the MAPS services is a 3-year program. So we would love to coincide these services with those individuals their last 3 years of high school and beyond. So essentially look at it from that perspective. Somebody that is entering their last 3 years and beyond, they would be eligible and appropriate for the MAP services. We don't want for the MAP services to end and that person supported still have 1 or 2 more years left of high school, because we missed that timing to line up our services with that transition age.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Jay. Where will the direct, there's 2 questions in here. We'll start with the first one. Where will the direct support people come from? So when it's talking about providing direct support.
It's a wonderful question. And one of the components that I'm really proud of is the approach to the development of the MAPS network of provider organizations, of partners. And as a result, we submitted a request for solicitation of current provider networks who wished to join the MAPS network. And in order to be considered, those organizations had to demonstrate leadership in our pillars of transformation. Those organizations that had a history of delivering person-centered support, successes with an employment service, and recognizing that the enabling technology solutions are vital to the delivery of supports. Those organizations that demonstrated those pillars have been awarded contracts. So at this point, we have contracts with 14 organizations from a provider network statewide that will deliver those direct supports at the launch of MAPS. We do envision that at some point we'll need to bring more MAPS providers on that will deliver that direct support, but considering everything is a rolling phase out, there's no sense in bringing more providers on than are absolutely necessary, considering we're rolling the design out in and of itself as well.
And then for this one and the next one, I'm actually going to touch on it. And then Jay, if you want to add anything, please do. Is this being presented now in high schools for grades 10 plus? This sounds like an awesome program. Or will or does DIDD provide this information to metro schools for those students that have an IEP? This is a major push that we are focusing on when it comes to not only providing this information to these students that are kind of entering those last transition years of high school, but also about our other programs as well. So we're working very closely with Transition Tennessee. We're going to be doing some outreach for special education directors and schools, and also starting to, now that a lot of schools kind of put aside their transition fairs during the pandemic. And the good news is that a lot of folks are now starting to bring those back. So there are like really some great opportunities now to be able to actually get out and get to meet with people one-on-one. So we're kind of taking it from not only that transition fair aspect, but also what can we do to get these materials and our materials in the hands of those special education teachers who are having those one-on-one meetings with families, and oftentimes is that resource for families when they need to know what comes next after high school. We want to make sure that all of those folks know that MAPS for a lot of folks can come next after high school. So so that's kind of that question. And Jay, I'll let you talk about anything else about that.
You're spot on, Kara, and I appreciate all of Kara and her team's work to help develop the plan to specifically target the high schools themselves. But we're not stopping there as well. We recognize that those transition teams themselves are also including folks from vocational rehabilitation, PREET, Tennessee STEP, Transition Tennessee, all of those other organizations that are also involved in the transition planning for the students that we're also ensuring that we're making this information available to. With that being said, we still have a lot of work to do. And so, we're always open to recommendations and help to assure that we're delivering this message to anyone that would benefit from this information. So direct contacts, options, help us help more folks. Thank you.
And I'll also say this. I know I did a quick search of the attendee list. I know that there are quite a few intake and case management folks. I know that sometimes those offices get inquiries to attend transition fairs or do presentations on some of this stuff. If you all don't have the capacity to do that, please send that to us and our team so that we can kind of see if my team has the capacity to do it or someone else does. Just make sure that we want to make sure that we're as present in the community as we can, because it's never been more important than it is right now with having DIDD serves a lot more people than it used to serve, and there are a lot of opportunities for us to educate folks about all of the various DIDD programs that are out there and do what we can to get that word out. Next question, what determines eligibility for a person? Jay, that one's all to you.
Yeah, the beauty about this program that has been delivered in some of our other presentations is at this point, this program is entirely state funded. And so I tip my hat to Commissioner Turner, our legislators, everyone who had the foresight to go ahead and get this program approved with a flexible capacity that is allowing us to learn and grow as we implement this program. And so from that design, Bo and his team have really tried to simplify the eligibility determination process to as simple as it can. And so we simply need to confirm that there is a proof of diagnosis of an intellectual and/or developmental disability through one of those example documentations that we included within the PowerPoint. That's it at this stage. Now, we do know that at some point the MAPS program may draw down federal funding, and when that does occur, we may have to revise what some of that eligibility determination may look like. But for now, the approach to this eligibility determination is that simple, and we're really excited that we've got that flexibility to do so.
Great, thanks a lot, Jay. Follow-up question, or I assume MAPS works with high school transition teams that develop the ITP. I'm not sure what, is it supposed to be IEP or is it ITP or anyway, I'll let you take this question if you can.
I think it's still just sort of piggybacks. It follows what we were trying to describe of making sure that the information is made available with those transition teams and those that are involved in those transition teams at that school unit. Again, I still think we've got a lot of work to do, and we're doing it. I'm really tipping my hat to Kara and her team right now for developing the materials that we need to disseminate and pushing through the plan to make sure we're getting that information out as readily available as possible. So the short answer to your question is absolutely. We fully intend on working with those transition directors in those particular counties that they know that this program is an option. Now, we know we can't go into the school and deliver the actual program. There's certain funding limitations that they experience on their end, but sort of outside of the school setting, we can provide and implement those services that we've identified through this presentation.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments? I hope that this was helpful for you all, but I can pause for anything. And please let us know if it did, this presentation, we wanted to be able to give this presentation to families and students and everyone to help them know what MAPS is. So if you think that if you feel like we did a good job, let us know, and we're here for it. We want to know how we did, and you can always email me or Jay if you feel like there were things that you still want to know. But you guys are, not only are you learning about it, you're also kind of our first test audience as well. So really appreciate you all taking part of this because we want to get it right. And this is a new way of doing services for folks. And we want to make sure that we're presenting the information in a way that helps them know what they're going to get with MAPS, and so that they're as excited about it as Jay and I are. So yeah, definitely let us know, and I hope you all have a great day, and hope you all are enjoying this great weather. And if you're like Jay and I and have family that in the Florida area, I hope your family is doing the best they can and makes it out of this thing with as much as they came in with, because hurricanes are no joke. So we'll talk to you all later, and hope you all are well. Bye. Thanks.